Hey everybody, this is This Week with the Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and this is your Saturday, December 11th edition. I always really have to think about the date.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because time didn't matter for like over a year.
No, yes, it did, but I don't always remember. Boy, December 11th rings to me because when I was a kid, that's when we had to have our letters to Santa. Had to be done by December 11th.
Yeah, and in the mailbox.
And in the mailbox, and off to the big guy.
Just to a regular mailbox, or did you go to like? Because some
no,
stores
we never
have
went
a
anywhere
special...
and dropped it. I honestly feel like we didn't put them in the regular mailbox. Maybe we had a place we put them in the tree or something. I can't remember. We turned them over to our parents and never thought anything different. Like they were going to get them to Santa.
Your dad is a master of scammery. He's a master.
But to this day, I'm 50 years old, and to this day, December 11th is the day that I have to have my Christmas list. Thinking back on, I was talking to my parents about this, like what made you decide on December 11th? Because
your dad's date from when he was a kid was like the 14th or something.
I guess he said it was, but then I think, well, the 11th would be 14 days before Christmas. And for working parents that are, working paycheck to paycheck to get everything everybody wants, 2 weeks before would be that like final.
Plus, push. Even back then, a lot of people got paid on the 15th because,
yeah,
government and whatnot.
Yeah. So anyway, that was probably why. I'm sorry, that just popped into my head when I said it was
live. It popped in live.
So thinking about this week, we've got a couple of conversations that we had this week that were interesting and
yeah, we wanted to talk about them. I had every year we do Talks does a mid-year eval and then the end of the year eval, and part of that eval is a self-assessment, whatever. And we were talking about it, and I got to talking about probably the most cutting comment ever made to me, like cut me to the bone, and it was just. It wasn't really an insult per se, but it was just something so dismissive that it was like, to this day, I think about it and it would bother me. And it was a eval that I got from Canon, and just to throw I'm trying to not throw too many names out there, but my supervisor at the time was a guy named Norm, who was great. I loved working for Norm. Norm was a good guy. He was a good supervisor. And I had been working for him for about 6 months, and it was my first real eval from him. And he was going on and on. I not trying to brag, but I was really good at my job at Canon. And when I was what they called a tier 2, but really I was doing stuff that was crazy, that was well beyond my job. But I was just really, really good at it. And he's doing this eval, and just not officially in the eval, but he's just talking to me. He goes, "You're real good at what you do. You're no Chuck Reeves," which he's my best friend. I love that man. He's my brother. But to hear that, it cut like a knife right in my chest. I was like, what?
Oh. I just can't even imagine a supervisor comparing you to another employee, saying you're good, you're not that good.
Yeah. Not as good as this guy. And I thought about it, and I had another kind of similar incident when I was at Paul D. Camp when I was a student, and I was working for Canon, and before I got promoted or anything, but I was in a situation where I was with my mentor, my professor, Mr. Turman, who was the tech teacher at Paul D. Camp, and he was talking to another visiting professor from somewhere. And I happened to be there, and he introduced me, and he goes, "This is one of my students, Kevin Rose. He's very advanced. He's doing this, and he's got a job working at Canon, ITS, and blah blah blah. He's not at Ken Brown's level, and I was just like, oh my god, my mentor is like, you're not as good as this other guy. So that kind of cut deep, right?
You cut me deep.
Yeah, but we were talking, and I tried to think about it, and I realized that I don't think he meant that it was there. I was trying to think, well, what was so much better about what these guys do that I don't. And I thought about it, and I think I figured it out. And I can deal with chaos. I can deal with shit happening, and I don't panic. I handle it. I get the job done when it comes down to it. So when shit's going down, there's nobody better at it than I am. Chuck was good at that kind of chaos, but the thing that he does that was different than what I do is he's very proactive. He can see trouble coming, and he's very proactive to prevent it from happening. Usually he has 3 or 4 plans to, when that doesn't go down. Now, if those plans fail, shit goes down. I'm much better at handling when shit goes down, but he's way better at planning ahead and doing that. So it's one of the reasons why we were such really great friends and still are, and why we get along so well, because you do a lot of planning.
Yeah, I mean, it does make you reflect, because I think in my job, I'm proactive.
Mm-hmm.
So I can foresee a problem coming with a kid or with a situation, and then I will take steps to like avoid it or to have something there. And so to someone who comes in and is watching, it seems like all of these things are kind of going well, and it's only because I've stressed a lot and proactively tried to put things in place so that things don't happen.
Yeah.
And that comes second nature to me. I'm not as good at reacting. I obviously you have to be good at reacting without losing your cool, and I am good at that. But I have to work a lot harder, and I feel the stress more when I'm in that reactionary thing. So I think you're right. In our relationship, it's the same. Like, mm-hmm. I'm the planner and the think aheader, and this, whereas you're more of the, oh, well, that didn't work, so let's throw this at it.
Yeah. What I'm going to do right now is let the dog in, because she's going
weren't
crazy.
Proactive enough to get the dog in here before we started recording.
She was in here, but then
Oh, Tilly, right there to show our weaknesses. Hi, Tills. Yes. So we decided, I don't know, it was a really insightful conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of putting your experience into like my own.
Well, first you thought it was the most horrible thing because of the.
Well, I still think it's horrible. I still think that in of itself is horrible. No supervisor should ever give you a good evaluation and say, wow, you're really good. You're just not as good as so-and-so. I can't imagine that ever happening.
Yeah. And again, to this day, it's one of those things that cut me to the bone. It really did. But
that blows my mind that you ran into 2 people who did that to you.
Yeah.
That just sucks.
I've been insulted, on purpose, maliciously, and for giggles, for fun. And nothing bothers me when it comes to that. You can straight up look me in the face and call me an asshole. I'm like, all right. But
did it bother you more because it was Chuck that you were being compared to? No.
He could have said any name in the book. He could have said anybody's name, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Because you probably been like, yeah, well, I'm not as good as Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, as good as I was at my job, Chuck Reeves was better at the job, but not like tremendously so much better that you can throw his name out there. Come on, asshole. But
yeah. It brings this, like, has anybody ever said anything to you that just stuck? Like, maybe they didn't even mean it. He probably didn't mean to be.
No, I don't think so.
That way when he wasn't really thinking it wasn't malicious, but like someone says something to you that just kind of sticks with you and you can't let it go.
I think it was more of the matter, because if he had just been some tech or whatever, it wouldn't have bothered me at all. But it was somebody who had a great deal of respect for.
Yeah.
And, it was a moment where I'm like trying to absorb what you're trying to tell me, and then you tell me something like that, and it's like, well, I'm never going to be that. The same thing with Mr. Terman. He's sitting there telling this person who I don't know, that I'm a really good student and blah blah blah, but I'm not this person that apparently he'd already met, and I wasn't on that level, and that's what he said, that I wasn't on his level. And it was just like, it's one of those things. It's like, some people have called me a dumb redneck or whatever, and I get it, but I'm not. I might try to convince people that I'm not as smart as I am, because I think there's an advantage to that. But I ain't dumb. I'm not.
I ain't dumb.
You can think it, but it's not true. And if you think it, then I've already won. But it's just that cut me deep. It really did.
Yeah.
And I still, every time when I think about it, it still cuts a bit deep.
I can remember my very first job. I worked at a sub shop.
Mr. Jim's.
Mr. Jim's. The one on Virginia Beach Boulevard, if you're from the area and you've been here for a long time. It's not even standing there anymore. But, and I was like 15, 16 maybe. And the manager there was kind of a jerk. And I don't even really know what happened, but I didn't do something the right way. And he said, do you have trouble hearing, or are you just not smart? And I was like,
smart enough to kick you in the balls.
What? Like, I can't believe that you, and I mean, I was a kid, but here I am 40 years later, 35 years later, and that still, I remember that comment being made to me, like,
So I guess the lesson that we're trying to put out there is be careful what you say to people.
Well, and
you may say something to somebody without any type of malicious intent, but it sticks with them.
Sometimes it's impossible not to.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
you never know what's going to trigger people.
You never know what's going to stick with somebody. So just always speak with, kindness and politeness and respect. That's why it's so important not to be an asshole, because you don't know what that other person's internalizing what you said or how they interpret what you said, and they carry it with them for a really long time, and it might be something you're not even giving a second thought about. So anyway, I always try to keep that in mind when I talk to people.
By the way, new background. Switch the room around a little bit.
Sit on the other side of the table.
Got some Christmas lights going on back behind us. What are you
thinking?
That
guy back there has got some lights on, and our little snowflake projectors going. And
So let us know in the comments what you think of the new background.
It's not too bad, other than the fact that we can see our reflection in the window, but that's okay.
What are you gonna
do? So we were also wanting to talk about like our top 10 or our top 5 best and worst things about 2021. And then
not a whole lot of the pro.
We might be adding some things to this list or revamping it over the next couple of weeks, because this idea came to us literally as we were sitting down to do this. And so these are the 5 things, the 5 best things and the 5 worst things from this year that just kind of came to the front of our head.
How do you want to start? Worst to best, or you want to flip flop?
Well, we'll work from the bottom up. 1 1 1 1 1 1. What do you say? Like the.
Well, let's end on a high note. So we'll start with.
So we'll start with this.
Yeah.
All right. These are not in any particular order.
Right.
It's just the bottom of our list of one of the worst things from this year.
Okay.
And I wrote down societal anger.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a term, but it is now.
I mean, you can see it in that, if you watch any type of news for any length of time, you can see the societal anger. I mean, people are just vicious if you disagree, and it's basically split in the middle of like mostly political belief, but we're so divided, and it's hard to watch. It really is.
It is.
And I don't think, that I don't know what's the fix for it, really, to be honest with you. Stop watching the news, I guess. That would be because the news people seem to push it, promote
it. They feed
or
on people's misery.
Yeah.
And they're not happy. And then here's how I know. Every time I read and I get like headlines shot to my phone, so I'll get a headline, and I don't always read the whole story, so I'll see the headline, I'll be like, oh, COVID cases are on the rise again, and then before Omicron, and I'm like, I just don't want to hear this anymore. I don't want to hear this anymore. Like, We all know. We all know. We know what to do. We know how to act. We know what we need. Let's just deal with this and move on. But I saw this on Facebook today. And this really sums up for me. Mm-hmm. It says, get an abortion or don't. Be gay, be straight, be transgender, believe in God, be an atheist. I am pro leave people alone. I am pro respect people, even if you disagree with them. I'm pro supporting family and friends. I'm pro mind your own damn business.
That's the libertarian.
And I'm like, that is it in a nutshell for me. I want to love the people around me, regardless of where they are on the religion scale, mm-hmm. If they're pro-choice, if they're pro-life, if they're gay, if they're transgender, if they're autistic, if they're depressed, suffering with anxiety. I just want to love the people around me, and I want them to be happy.
There you go.
And you just need to be okay doing what makes you happy. And if you can do what makes you happy without hurting another person, it makes no difference to me. I mean, marry a cat. I honestly don't care. If you're a good person and you treat me well and you treat other people well, that's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a decent human being. And I think that's definitely where I come from in life. I just want to see positivity, and I want to see people have hope again. I want to see people have respect again. I don't want to have to feel bad noticing good things, because I want the good things to be what's always there. Like now it's just like, oh, that person held the door open for him. Like, I shouldn't notice that as something good. That should just be something that's done all the time. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw that today. One of my cousins shared it, and I was like, boy, that is right where I am in life.
So you're okay with people marrying a cat? What if they pop a titty out and do the breastfeeding on a plane?
Oh my God. I don't have to say it that way, but we did hear this story about a woman who was breastfeeding her cat
on a plane.
On an airplane. Now, it strikes me as odd. If she had covered herself up, nobody would have known. It wouldn't have been a problem.
If it had been a kid, I would have had no problem at all. You got a baby.
I mean, it is a little weird if it was a cat. I will admit to being like, oh.
Apparently the cat was like screaming about it, so the cat didn't really want to be involved. I don't know. We read the story. It was like, what in the world? So do what you got to do, and be who you want to be. But there is a line.
I mean, yeah, of course, there's a line where people are like, okay, that's just weird.
Well, the cat wasn't. I mean, the cat wasn't consenting. So there you go. It's all about consent. So.
She could have covered herself. If it was a woman, I don't care if she covers herself or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about my husband or my children seeing it either. But when it's a cat or something, that's just, how do you explain that?
Yeah, just don't. Wait
so
till
anyway,
you get off the plane. Wait till.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Societal anger. Overall, we need to just be not as angry.
Right. On the plus side, on the good side. Let's see. Yep, we went back to the mountains. First time in a long time that we've been up there. And you saw the episode. We had a blast. Or I hope you guys saw the bonus episode where we were actively showing you our little mini vacation.
Little snippets.
It was needed. After, not just because of the pandemic. I mean, we hadn't been up there and
we hadn't gone since my dad got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
Because when he was actively going through treatment, we did not want to not be here.
Yeah.
And then when he was not, I mean, things were good, the pandemic hit and we couldn't go. So,
yeah. So it was much needed. And if you go back to watch the episode, it was a blast. We had a great time, and we'll certainly be back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next year, actually, we got a little vacation with the Roses in Hatteras, so that'd be fun. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I'm reading the worst column, so that's just fitting.
Oh, okay.
It's just fitting for our personalities. I wrote this down as appliance gate for us again personally. The number of appliances we had to replace in our house this year, borderline being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be bad if it had been like spaced out, but it seemed like as soon as we got one replaced, the next one was going down, and we were always spending like hundreds of dollars to replace appliances.
Dryer, wash machine.
So pretty much all of our appliances in the kitchen and the washer and dryer and the garbage disposal are all, a year old or newer. So,
and we've had to have a plumber out, we've had to have an electrician
yeah,
out.
and I just put that in the worst column just for the financial burden of it,
Yeah.
It was
still gotta have an electrician out after the first year.
God, we have so many. The light in our garage won't come on.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
And it's a problem at night because we come in and out of our house through the garage. We don't come in through the front door.
Mm-hmm.
But it's dark and you have to go up steps to get into the kitchen. It's, a problem, especially when it's getting dark at 5:00 at night.
Yeah.
That has to get done. We've got an issue with the light socket on the deck because the lights keep flickering on and on.
I got that worked out, by the way.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you made it and it's not working? Or
well, what it is that there's a light fixture up there, and instead of there being a light bulb in there is because we have a string of lights, not like a big bulb. There's a twisty plug in it, so it works like an outlet, and just over time and
did you replace the twisty thing?
No, I just tightened it up.
Okay.
So to replace it, I would have to get it out and then go to the store and find another one, blah blah blah. But I was able to get it to work, so that is good.
Okay, not good enough that we'd put it on the best list, but
Yeah. But it's just one of those things.
Really sad year.
A lot of stuff for the house maintenance. Plus, last year was a bunch of stuff we had to replace too. So
yeah.
The problems with 2021 stem from problems in 2020.
That's true. So, 2022 is going to be better though.
2022 has to be better.
Okay.
Oh shit! Why did I say that?
I don't know why did you say that?
Fuck, man.
I know. All right, the next best thing.
Yeah, we got the new car, and that was awesome. The new car was fantastic. I love the new car. It's got all the cool gadgets in it.
I even put the seat warmers on twice today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And see this right here will get me through most of the winter.
Yeah.
And I don't even like to wear a coat because I'm not outside for a long period of time. And I'm not very often am I cold enough that I feel like I need it. But even I got in the car this morning when it was all frosted over for the first time and put the seat warmers on, and it was great.
Nice,
really
and toasty.
Great.
But in the summertime, or if you're hot, you can throw the seat coolers on.
Yeah, we have air-conditioned seats too.
So
that was, obviously we've talked about the car before. Everybody knows that that's one of our fun things from the year.
And we've recorded in the car several times, not just on the special episode. We've done a few recordings in the car.
Okay.
So
I'm going to skip over this one and I'll come back to it after you do this one.
Okay.
Or do you want to trade and you do this one? That would be good.
Yeah.
You talk about that one.
I'll talk about that one. All right. So what she's pointing out is inflation. And I'm kind of a economics nerd. I took a little bit of economics in college at Paul DeCamp. And then within the last maybe 10 years or so, I just got real interested in economics. I read a few economic books, learned a lot of economic theory, and it's fascinating to me. And just to see the mass inflation that's happening and to understand why it's happening, because massive government spending, and you say what you will because of the pandemic and the lack of labor because of that, which, it's because government shut everything down. You can argue the necessities of it all you want, but that it was an artificial depression pretty much. But then they start pumping trillions. I mean, literally in the last few years, they've spent trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's just jacked up inflation, and that's going to keep happening. So prices, everything has gone way up. Gas is way up. Food, housing, all of it is way up. So it's a bad thing.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about that. We'll come back to that. Never mind.
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't know what
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Yeah.
All right. So one of the best things of the year
mm-hmm.
was being able to start the school year off with in-person learning.
Yeah.
Being back in the classroom with the kids back in the classroom.
a lot less uncertainty about whether or not you were going to shut down too.
Yeah, it really just felt like, okay. I mean, there's been a lot of, people out on quarantines and that kind of thing. But just having everybody back in the building and being back in the classroom, even the masking, like when we first went back to in-person learning last year, it was hard because we were also distanced and the plexiglass everywhere and the masks, and
think about
it was something completely foreign to what, and they couldn't touch the same things, and it was just,
think about taking a dozen kittens and herding them into one particular basket,
but then trying to keep them 3 feet apart.
Right. So add into that you have to get them into a basket that's not nearly big enough for you to keep them 3 feet apart, but you got to keep them 3 feet apart. Yeah. That's
I mean, it was really hard. This year, a lot of that kind of went away. The plexiglass kind of went away. Of course, the masking is still a thing and the distance is still a thing. But it just felt a little bit more like, we kind of had learned a lot last year. And we've stayed in person, which has been great. I'm not saying it's been easy. It has been hard.
Which brings us to the negative side. Which brings
us to one of the worst things from 2021, and that's in-person learning. Because the kids being out of school for the amount of time they were out, and then, the gaps in the learning, which of course we all knew was a thing. Mm-hmm. I think what we were not prepared for. We were prepared for the gaps in the learning and like having to fill them in and get them up to speed and whatever. Like that we all knew was coming. I don't think what any of us, and I know for me anyway, even thought was like emotionally and just socially lacking. These are kids that haven't been in the classroom for almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And what that did to them socially. And having to deal with the fallout of having kids that were maybe learning from home with parents who were working from home. And so they were like, I need you to be quiet. Just go do what you need to do. Get on your iPads, whatever, because I have to work. And so they weren't socializing with other kids, and they were getting immediate attention.
Instead of being socialized with kids and learning, they weren't the center of the universe when they're 3 and 4. They're learning when they're 5 years old on the first day of school that, holy shit, I'm not the center of the universe.
That's normal. And I feel like kindergarten maybe felt it a little bit less so than other grade levels. Really? Because our kids had never been in school before. Mm. Or they were in pre-K, but they're still, at 5, they're still learning. They're not the center of the world. Mm-hmm. But even like just getting along with each other. And it has been hard. Managing the behaviors have been crazy. And I know in high school, I think is where they're really feeling it, because those kids are like cursing the teachers out. And there's just this lack of respect now that was always there a little, it was always there, but now it's just magnified. And then not being able to get the staff you need to fill the positions. And so if people are out sick or out on quarantine or whatever, just trying to shuffle. You're running on a skeleton crew. And then you're expected to still answer to the parents. They want everything like it always has been. And it just isn't. So, it's been the best and the worst thing of 2021. It's been a really different year. And like I said, I think kindergarten, for me anyway, this year, it's been a little insulated because our kids are always coming to us with not a clue of what to do in school. But there's that. So, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Good health for your mom and dad. That
was one of the best things.
That is good. You're particularly with your dad. Your dad's obviously had these issues with the cancer, but this year is the year they said, you know what, they used to say, we can't say you're in remission because blah blah blah.
They told him he'd never be in remission.
Yeah, he'd never be in remission. Finally, they just said, you know what, you're in remission. They just, it was like, fuck it, man, you're in remission. Like it was just like that. It's just like they just said, fuck it, you're in remission.
That's not really how that happened, but
But I mean, because he's been getting all these good
All these
reports,
clear MRIs and
yeah.
CTs, and
So it's really a miracle man, is what he is. But so that's good news.
yes, because when we first got diagnosed, the radiologist very flippantly said it was stage 4 cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And then was like, oh, Dad was like, well, how long does that give me? And she goes, well, 10 months without treatment, of course, which wouldn't have been an option. Dad would have done treatment anyway. Thankfully, the treatment they found for him
worked. It was a miracle. It was it was like just really approved by the FDA.
Even the fact that he never had to be on like chemo.
Yeah.
And he lost his hair and all from radiation, but he never had the like days of sickness from chemotherapy. And the medicine he had, there is an effect from the medicine he's on. It's just not as debilitating as cancer treatments when you think of having cancer.
I mean, he battled cancer and he won. It took a toll on him, though. There's no doubt it took a toll on him.
And then Mom had some issues this year too, but she got like a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give props to my mom because
she's fantastic.
She was, faced with, she really carried a lot of the, mental burden of Dad going through all of this and being the strength to get our whole family through it. And I think she stopped kind of paying attention to her own issues a little bit. And when they came back and said, hello, like, we're still here, she has just kicked its ass.
Yeah.
And better than I ever could do. So I have to give her a lot of credit for that. I'm super proud of her.
Yeah.
So that's all great. And then on the other side of that,
we of course lost my mom.
Our top worst thing of 2021 was losing Mary Ellen. So it seems even wrong to me to see this on paper. Because I can't. I can celebrate all the good stuff here.
Difficult. But it's difficult, especially because Christmas was her big deal. It was her favorite thing, and but you have to move on. You have to live your life. But we lost my mom. We lost Debbie.
I think Debbie was last year.
Was it?
I think so.
The last couple of years, I've lost some people that. Like we're talking about my friend Debbie, who was like just an aunt, really, like a really close aunt. She loved Debbie to death. Mm-hmm. You go through my Facebook memories, and it still hits me because I'll go through my Facebook memories. Inevitably, she's going to be in one of those Facebook memories saying that she loves me.
Yeah, and I have like a message, like a Facebook message from her about something. The other day, I picked my phone up to call somebody, and I hit the favorites. It brings your favorite, or your, whoever you have in your favorites, and your mom's phone number was listed in there, and it was like, oh, you can't delete it out of there.
No,
you just can't delete it out of there.
Yeah.
So,
I really miss my mom, but she would want everybody to be happy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Chugging along, being happy.
And so, what I think, and I hope what you think, one of the best things of 2021 is the vaccinations. Mm-hmm. Being able to receive a vaccination, and then even all of us have received a booster vaccine. Wherever you stand on whether you should be vaccinated or not, for us it was the best decision. And it really did bring my anxiety level back down to where I could function out in the open.
Yeah. Make your own decision on vaccination. It was the right decision for us because, one, we're all not the best of health and people, and we're living with people that have extreme comorbidities, morbidities, like your dad, your mom. Mm-hmm. I have my issues. I'm a diabetic, and obviously a big old fat chooch. Mike's diabetic. We're not the pictures of health. If you're a picture of health and you don't want to get vaccinated, or if you had COVID and you've got your natural immunities, that's on you, Hoss. That's all on you.
I would like to see everybody vaccinated, but I can understand people who are hesitant to do it, and it's your right. I believe it's your right to decide to vaccinate or not. That's up to you. I'm certainly not going to lose friends that decide not to do it because I'm just not that kind of person. But so anyway, our list of what we think off the top of our head. Comment what your best thing of 2021 was. And if you want to share what your worst part of 2021 was, feel free to do that too.
Yep.
I remembered when we sat down and I was like, I knew there was 2 things we wanted to talk about. We could not think of the second thing.
But then she remembered it.
But then it came to me, I really need to start keeping notes. So we heard.
It was an article we read about.
It wasn't an article. I heard it in a podcast that part of the infrastructure bill that was passed is that car manufacturers are now required by 2026 to put breathalyzers in cars in order for them to start. And I don't think that I fall on the side that believes that should happen.
It's obviously a government overreach.
I understand that drunk driving is a problem and that it's the number 1 cause of death on the road. People getting behind the wheel intoxicated and innocent people die. I understand. But I can't imagine having to get in my own car and having to blow into a breathalyzer in order to start my car. I feel like that's an overreach.
It's absolutely an overreach.
And I would maybe feel different if I was personally impacted by someone. And if you are,
But the thing of it is, a couple things. One, you're basically punishing people for not committing a crime. Because and it seems like such a simple thing. You just got to blow in the tube and you go. First of all, if you watch 40-Year-Old Virgin, you already know how to beat the breathalyzer thing. You know how to do it. You blow in this for me, buddy. Thanks. Now I can drive.
Yeah, and hopefully you have friends that wouldn't do that. But again, you can't legislate common sense into people.
No.
You can't legislate good behavior. It just, people who are going to drive drunk will find a way around the breathalyzer. They will.
Yeah.
And you'll have this, maybe not to the huge extent you do now, but
they'll freaking blow into a balloon. Wait till they put the balloon on.
I think you have to have force behind your air, though. Oh my God.
I'm not even all that bright, and I figured out 2 ways to get around it. I'm not particularly bright, and I'm sure there's people that,
I mean, unless it's not not that breathing into a tube is invasive, but like if they could build something into the steering wheel that monitors your alcohol level. The concern on the podcast we have, which was a little ridiculous, and they were saying it out of humor, but they were like, well, what if I'm at home and I live like in California where these wildfires are happening all the time, and I'm drinking because I'm at home, and then like these wildfires and I have to evacuate my home and I can't get my car started. So like, am I supposed to die in a fire because I can't drive my car away? And granted, you shouldn't be driving your car away intoxicated, but you have to put a risk. You have to prioritize your risks at that point. I mean, I imagine that the amount of people that would happen to is really small.
But still.
And I guess you could still say to your buddy, hey, blow into this for me, or they could drive. But yeah, I mean, I just think about little scenarios like that. Like, what happens if I'm stranded?
And then plus you're still just basically
call a cab.
Accusing people of drunk driving without them. You'd be a non-alcoholic from hell. And,
Well, obviously there's lots of people who are going to disagree with this because it was passed.
Just because a lot of people don't even know. I didn't know it was in the bill.
I didn't know.
I'm not even completely sure it's still in the bill, but
I think it is. When I Google searched
it,
I did find
it
that it was part of it. But anyway,
but no one's surprised by government overreach.
A little surprised by that because I'm like,
they expect government overreach, and hopefully, if it goes to get something like this to go to court, but it's just going to.
in the grand scheme of your life, though, it's really not that big of a deal if you're not intoxicated.
Yeah, well, still,
I know. So anyway,
overreach, and that the more we accept overreach, the more it's going to happen. And so, whenever there's any type of government overreach, you have to fight it because they will not stop.
We're riling up my libertarian husband.
Yeah, well, there's been a ton of government overreach. We can go into it, but I'm not going to do it today. But that shit is, this 2021 has been the year of government overreach. There's no denying that. Absolutely. So, fuckers.
Well, yay for our new car. Want to go
We'll be
out
able to
on a
ride
high
that
note.
for a while.
We're in debt. Yay.
So that's it for that.
So anyway, that's it for our segment 1. We're gonna come back with shit you should know. And then we will wrap up this week with there are some things in the works, by the way.
Yeah.
Some special guests possibly coming in.
Trying to work it out.
Special bonus pod coming up maybe.
Yeah.
Sometime soon.
Before Christmas, because
the topic of the conversation is around a Christmas topic.
Mm-hmm.
So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna try to put that out as a bonus episode. So that should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back with shit you should know.
And we're back.
We're back
with shit you should know.
Shit you should know.
She's getting stuff together so
hold
that
on.
Keep a score.
No, sorry. I'm just receiving a text message.
All
right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You gonna go first?
Sure.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
How many baby teeth does a child usually have?
Like when they're first born? None.
A child. Baby teeth.
28.
Oh, you were close. 20.
Oh, wow.
That was so close. All right, hold on. I'm writing the score now. And there's no points for that one. Okay, no.
On what beverage can you read Old No. 7 brand on the label?
Old No. 7 brand?
Mm-hmm.
What beverage?
Yep.
Old No. 7 brand. Seagram's?
Nope. Jack Daniel's whiskey.
Daniels. I was thinking Seagram's 7 and 7.
Yeah, but it's not. It's the Old No. 7 from Jack Daniel's. You know who was screaming that at the
yeah, I know, John. I know.
To my alcoholic friends, there you go.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Which president resigned after the infamous Watergate scandal?
Oh, that's Nixon.
Yeah. To look at that. You're right.
But that is shit you should know. If you folks out there with like teenagers and whatnot, ask these randomly to your teenagers and see what they know. And if they don't know it, you need to beat it into their heads because this is shit they should know. So.
Yes. Okay. I'm ready for my next question. Sorry.
Right.
I'm so distracted. I'm sorry.
What disease, known as the French disease, did Al Capone suffer and ultimately die from?
French disease?
The French disease.
Dysentery?
Syphilis. Syphilis. I knew it was something like one of the STDs, which God knows how he got it, but probably through sex.
I would imagine so. That's a
I don't know if that was like prison man sex or if it was
bet.
like,
Doesn't matter.
I don't know if it was like prison man sex or was it like,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
It's still a sexual contact, whether or not it was forced upon you.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe Al Capone was forced in there.
I doubt it, but who knows?
He was definitely the force.
Was he in jail when he died?
Yeah, he was in Alcatraz.
All right, how many months of the year have 31 days?
Ooh, shit! I have to do the thing.
You're doing the knuckle thing.
January. Let's see. I got to count two at the same time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do that again. January 1, February, March 2, April, May 3, June, July 4, August 5, September, October is 6, November, and then December. So 7.
7. Very good. If you don't know the trick,
yeah,
you put your hands up and you count. You start on this pointer finger, knuckle, and then you go between the knuckles. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Everyone that hits on a knuckle has 31 days.
And you could do the poem if you know the poem. That 30 days has September, April, June, and November.
I know. 30,
but who knows the rest of it? It's bullshit. It's a bullshit poem.
I know 30 days hath September. That's as much of that as
the rest of it is bullshit.
Because I learned the knuckle trick.
Bullshit. Yeah.
All right, so you got 2 points.
Got 2. What job did the 7 dwarfs in Snow White have? They had a job. They were miners. Yeah, they were miners. They were miners. That's what it says. I'll give you an extra bonus point if you remember what they were mining for.
Diamonds.
Oh, very good.
Really? Yeah. I get a bonus point?
I'll give you a bonus point for that.
Sweet. Now we're even.
All right.
They're blood diamonds. You never know with Disney.
You never know, yeah.
How many Gospels are there in the New Testament?
4. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
All right, so you're getting a bonus point too because that was in parentheses.
Yeah.
Good job, babe.
Yeah.
I am not a good Catholic because I probably would have known. I knew it once I heard it, but I don't know if I would have been able to recall that out of my head.
Yeah.
I would have known Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but I wouldn't have necessarily those are the Gospels.
When I was a kid, I was really deeply into the whole Baptist thing, and then I got older. Lapsed Baptist.
My religion. So. Okay.
All right. Let's see. This is the last one. What is the stage name of Marshall Bruce Mathers III?
No idea.
That's Eminem.
Marshall
Slim Shady.
Mathers, M and M.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you beat me 4-2.
Jesus.
That was a trouncing.
That was decisive.
That was a trouncing victory on your part. Way to go. Woohoo!
Well, you got
leave me hanging high. You're leaving me hanging high.
You're in my bad spot.
I'm in your blind spot. That's why I never sit on this side.
Yeah.
That's right. I didn't realize. Or you're like,
Just to recap, I had this eye thing that's just, it's
that
a lot better than it was.
You got that done this year, didn't you?
No,
that was last year.
Yeah. Actually, I need to go back to the doctor.
Time just keeps going by and going by. All right, so we'll be wrapping this up with our holiday TikTok video of the week. And then we will see you back here next Saturday, the 18th.
Yeah.
And then maybe there'll be a bonus.
We may have some footage from Little Christmas.
Oh, we won't be recording on the 18th, though.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll record on Sunday.
Yeah. We'll do the show on Sunday. Maybe we'll have
we're going to visit family on Saturday.
Yeah. What we used to call Little Christmas, because me and my brothers, we never have the time. Again, it's mostly my fault because when you're working at a call center, you work some of the holidays. So.
Yes. Before we sign off, my sister's coming on Wednesday, so I just want to put this out into the universe. Safe travels for her. Flying here from Georgia. Sure, it's not a big deal. That's kind of a short trip. But we also have another loved one who's got a cancer battle ahead of her. We want to send all our love and good wishes out to her too. It's a tough time, and our hearts are with you. So, anyway, just wanted to put that out into the universe. Yeah. Okay.
Let us know the good and the bad in the comments. Let us know how you like the background, or if you want us to go back to the plain.
No one wants us to go back. This is so much prettier.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. Don't want a doll, no dinky tinker toy. I want a hippopotamus.